That's the oldest church in Boston, the Old North Church, built in 1723. And that's where Robert Newman, the sexton, hung the two lanterns on the eve of the American Revolution. Or as the Longfellow poem says, one up by land, two up by sea. It was in that church, deep in the north end, the oldest part of the city. We don't go to the north end because the streets are really narrow. If we went to the north end, the tour would take like 3 hours. And last time I checked, Gilligan was the only one doing a 3-hour tours, right? But if you go down there and check it out, there's 120 great Italian restaurants, a bunch of bakeries. The bakeries are awesome. Keep in mind, the bakeries only take cash. I figured out why. They want to make sure they pay the state the right amount of taxes, and it's just a lot easier to do that when you got a big pile of cash in front of you and figure out what the state is due, right? Some of that money might blow off into a bag at your feet, but you never know. So there on the left is called the Blackstone Block. And that bar on the corner to your left there, the Bell in Hand, founded in 1795 by Jimmy Wilson. Anyone want to guess what Jimmy Wilson's last job was? He was the town crier. He used to say the news in the town square before they had wide distribution of newspapers. Those tall glass towers right there, the New England Holocaust Memorial. Yeah, this block of buildings right here, the streets on that block are the same exact streets that were laid out in 1676. Now on the left over here is Faneuil Hall, the most important place in Boston, maybe in America. Faneuil Hall was built in 1742. It was a gift to the city from Peter Faneuil. It's in a square called Dock Square because when that building was built, it was right on the waterfront. Those other buildings were built in the early 1800s. It was in that building where the Sons of Liberty planned to overthrow the British government. And you know what they do in there now? About 4 times a year, they make new Americans. What a place to become an American. In the building where the idea of America was first born 246 years ago plus. Plus, they just built a brand new Sephora next door so you can look good when you become an American. This building on the right up ahead is the oldest public building in the city. This is the old State House. This building was built in 1713, right across the street right there. And that was the seat of the British Royal Governor. That's where they ruled the Mass Bay Colony from. You have a question?
Yeah. Does the translation thing work?
Yeah, if you're hitting the up on the volume.
I think they did.
You should hear music.
Yeah, we can hear the music on it.
It should play right now. Do you hear music? Yeah. You'll hear music, then narrative, then music, then narrative, depending. There's like a GPS satellite that picks up our location.
Oh, okay.
All right? Yeah, it's not my tour. It's a generic tour, kind of. So that building right there, see that balcony on the second floor? I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, the balcony with the American flag bunting on it. At 10 o'clock Monday morning, someone will step onto that balcony and read the Declaration of Independence for the 246th time. The first time was July 18, 1776, and every single 4th of July since the Revolution, they've been reading it from that balcony. 5,000 people gather here. It's the coolest tradition of Boston. This building is also where 9 British troops got into a tussle with a large group of locals on March 5th, 1770. A scuffle broke out. Next thing you know, shots were fired. 5 were killed. Back in England, they called it the unfortunate incident on King Street, but Sam Adams had his buddy Paul Revere make an engraving,